So here is the second video for lesson 30. I'm just going to go through the problem on page 2. So I'm going to call this one equation, oops, I'm going to turn my pen on first. Equation 1, equation 2, and equation 3. So step 1 says to line up two of the three variable equations and eliminate one variable. So I'm going to eliminate z. So I have 2x plus y minus z equals -5, and then 4x minus 2y plus z equals 10. Since my signs are opposite, I'm going to add them, so I get 6x y plus -2y is -y equals 5. Okay? Then I'm going to line up two more, so I'm going to line up 2 and 3. So 4x minus 2y plus z equals 10, and then 2x plus 3y plus 2z equals 3. And I'm going to have to get a matching coefficient so I can eliminate the z's. And to do that, I'm going to multiply all this by 2, so that becomes 8x minus 4y plus 2z equals 20. And I'm going to subtract. 8x minus 2x is 6x. -4y minus +3y is -7y equals 20 minus 3 is 17. Okay, so now I'm going to line up these two variable equations and get matching coefficients for one variable. So I have 6x minus y equals 5 and 6x minus 7y equals 17. I already have a matching coefficient. So I get -y minus, the x's go away, so -y minus -7 is +6. And then it becomes 5 minus 17 is -12. So 6y equals -12, divide both sides by 6, I get y equals -2. So I've solved for y. So now I'm going to plug y, that back into one of my two variable equations. So 6x, I'll use the 6x minus y equals 5. Y is -2. So it becomes 6x plus 2 equals 5. 6x equals 3. X equals 1/2. Okay. So now I have two of my three variables. So I'm just going to plug this back into equation number 1. 2x plus y minus z equals -5. So I'm just going to go 2 times 1/2 plus -2 minus z equals -5. So that becomes 1 minus 2 minus z equals -5. -1 minus z equals -5. So negative z is going to be -4. So z equals 4. So my solutions, x is 1/2, y is -2, z is 4. Okay. This next one, they give us these coordinates that fit into this quadratic function, into this equation, and then we have to solve for them. So let's look at this first point here. So here's our equation, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So in this case, y is 6 equals a times 1 squared plus b times x is 1 plus c. So this first equation, 6 equals a plus b plus c. In my second equation, I get my y value is 20, my x value is 3. Let me change colors here. So it's this. So 20 equals a times 3 squared plus b times 3 plus c. So 20 equals 9a plus 3b plus c. And then my final equation, I have -2/15, so my y value is 15 equals a times -2 squared plus b times -2 plus c. So 15 equals 4a minus 2b plus c. So those are my three equations. So then I'm going to follow the procedure and solve for those values. So I'm going to stack, we're going to call this 1, 2, and 3. For this one, I'm going to stack equations 1 and 2. So 6 equals a plus b plus c. 20 equals 9a plus 3b plus c. I'm going to subtract. I get negative 14 equals negative 8a minus 2b. I'm going to divide everything by negative 1 there on both sides, so I'm going to get 14 equals 8a plus 2b. It's just a little bit easier to work with. I probably should have stacked equation 2 on top of equation 1. Now I'm going to do equation 2 on top of equation 3. I'm going to use a different color for that. So 20 equals 9a plus 3b plus c over 15 equals 4a minus 2b plus c. I'm going to subtract. I get 5 equals 5a. 3b minus negative 2b is plus 5b, and my c's are gone. So those are my two variable equations I have so far. And I need to line those two up. So I had 8a plus 2b equals 14, and I had 5a plus 5b equals 5. So now I need to get a common coefficient. I'm going to use, I'm going to work with my b's. I'm going to multiply this equation all by 5 and this equation all by 2. So now I'm going to get 40a plus 10b equals 5 times 14 is 70. And down here, I'm going to get 10a plus 10b. So now my b's match up, equals 10. I'm going to subtract. So 40a minus 10a is 30a. My b's go away. 70 minus 10 equals 60. Divide both sides by 30. I get a equals 2. So now I can plug that back into one of my two variable equations. So how about we just bump that into, I have that 8a plus 2b equals 14. 8 times 2 plus 2b equals 14. 16 equals, 16 plus 2b equals 14, so 2b equals negative 2, and I subtract 16 from both sides, b equals negative 1. So I have my a, I have my b, and now I can just plug it into c. So let's just use equation 1. a plus b plus c equals 6. My a value was 2, my b value was negative 1. I'm trying to find my c value, so 2 minus 1, 1 plus c equals 6, c equals 5. But the actual question was to write the equation, so we just found our a, b, and c. So our a is 2, our b is negative 1, our c, is 5. So we're going to rewrite this equation as y equals 2x squared minus x plus 5. So that's our equation. Okay. All right, so then we have the problem set. I'm just going to list the answers, and you only needed to do 2 of them plus the exit ticket. Okay, so first let's do the exit ticket really quick. Okay. Here we go. So I'm going to, they all have a Q. All 3 equations have a Q. So that's what I'm going to eliminate first. So I'm going to call this 1, 2, and 3. So step 1, 2p plus q minus r equals 8. And then over q plus r equals 4. So I'm going to subtract. So 2p, my q's go away, negative r minus 2r equals 4. And let me do my second round then. So I have q plus r equals 4, and then p minus q, and there's no r's there, equals 2. When I stack, I'm just going to add these because my q signs are negative. So p plus r equals 6. Okay. So now I've got 2p minus 2r equals 4, and p plus r equals 6. So I'm going to write those over here. 2p minus 2r equals 4. P plus r equals 6. I'm going to multiply both sides, both sides of this equation by 2. And I'm going to end up with, that becomes a 2p plus 2r equals 12. Let's just go ahead and add, since my r signs are opposite, so I get 4p equals 16, so p equals 4. I've solved for one variable, so now I can dump that back into one of these equations. I know that p plus r equals 6, so 4 plus r equals 6, r equals 2. Okay, so I know that p is 4, r equals 2, so now I have to solve for q. So let's go to equation 2 here. Q plus r equals 4. I know r equals 2, so q equals 2. So in alphabetical order, our solution is p, q, r. So it's going to go 4, 2, 2. That's the exit ticket. Okay, and now I'm just going to list the answers for 1 through 8, skipping number 4. Okay, so number 1, if you did it right, you would have gotten 1, 2, and 4. So that's x, y, z. Number 2, r equals 2, s equals 4, t equals 3. So these are the correct answers. You still have to show how you arrived at these, but this will at least let you know if you were on, there is no 4. Okay. 5, r equals 3, s equals 1/3, t equals -1, 6, x equals -2, y equals -3, z equals 2, 7, x equals 3, y equals 5, z equals 4, and finally number 8, p equals 2, q equals 5, r equals -1. Okay, that's it for lesson 30.